Ones that got sprayed on, and a girl stopped, ran out of her car, opened the car, and sprayed them really bad, jumped in her car, and took off.
So I had a problem with a lady on Bahama Village just right now.
Welcome back to Advocacy Alchemy with Professor Ross. Today we have a good one, guys. Usually, when we talk about foul play, we're talking about a murder mystery. But today, in Key West, Florida, the foul is literally a real chicken, guys. And the play is a life-altering mistake. Why does an animal rights defender end up facing a potential life sentence in prison over a chicken? It's all about when someone allows their righteousness to blind them from the actual law. Today, we're breaking down how teaching someone a lesson can lead to the highest felony charge in the state of Florida. Before we jump in, I want to give credit to the uploader, EWU Bodycam, and I'll put the link in the description too. With that, let's jump in.
Oh my God, somebody just sprayed a lot of stuff in this lady's car. I was sitting in my car, and there was a girl in the car, the ones that got sprayed on, and a girl stopped, ran out of her car, opened the car, and sprayed them really bad, jumped in her car, and took off.
Is she having trouble breathing?
Are you having a hard time breathing? Yeah, she's foaming.
Okay, she's foaming at the mouth?
A little bit, yeah. My eyes are burning, too. It's almost like a pepper spray.
And does she know the person?
No, they didn't know who the person was.
Okay. And is that her screaming?
Yeah. They sprayed pepper on it. Somebody did. They need water for their face. The police are coming right now, ma'am. You can't get in the car and drive away.
Yeah, keep her there. She can't drive like that.
Police? You can't drive. Honey, the police are coming.
Can you tell me what happened? I need to know what happened so we can help you.
I was in a hurry and she stopped and I tried to get past her.
Because we're going right now to my niece daycare to pick up our niece.
Okay.
And she was in the way.
So
and she didn't want to move. She keeps standing there. And just because she moved, because we're in a hurry, because we're going to pick up our niece to the daycare right there. So she come, follow us and stop right in front of us and come out and open the door and spray in her eyes, so it even reach in my eyes.
We don't have a
I don't have to know who it is, but it's a black car.
Somebody help me.
The ambulance is here, okay?
Yes.
I think she got pepper sprayed. I think that's what's going on.
I'm not coming for the charge. All right, listen. Look, don't touch your face. All right, don't touch your face.
Please, somebody.
Listen. Did you get to see who it was?
No,
you didn't see?
Please,
okay. Listen. Just calm down and breathe, okay?
Yeah, breathe.
You can breathe. Just calm down and breathe, okay? I've been pepper sprayed before. All you gotta do is just breathe. Don't touch your face, all right?
Oh, somebody help me.
With Perla too overcome with pain to give a complete statement, the officers talked to the 911 caller who saw the incident from her own car.
I was on my phone just playing a game, waiting, killing time, and I could hear him screaming, and I looked up, and she tried to close. She opened the door, she closed it, the girl opened it again, and it was a can like this big, the black top on it, and just started spraying like crazy. I think it happened so fast.
It's, you don't get maced. I know it was about 24 hours or so.
Depending on the person. I mean, that's not even. Like, I don't know of anybody that's had more than a couple hours.
She had it really bad. The one driving got it.
She'll be fine.
Like, kept
what she needs
squirting
to do is, so what happens is the water keeps activating that. So what she needs to do is stop touching her face and strobe her eyes.
So I did wrong giving
strobe
her
her eyes. No, that was good because that wiped off.
Okay, do you remember what color she was?
White, black hair, shirt, and the kid darkish color like.
Okay.
It's not white.
But the car went straight?
Black, yeah. I think she was black.
Black female?
Possibly.
Oh my God. Don't be skin them burn.
Let me get a better story.
She stopped before I reached the blue heaven. And I hung like I need to get by. And then she give a full stop. So I gone around her, and when I gone around her, she just keep following me. And when she reached up here by the corner, she started hollering, you. So I stopped. And when I stopped, she get out of her car and come and open my car door and start spraying. But I tried to stop her, but I had on my seatbelt.
Right. How you doing? Good.
She's friendly.
How you doing? I'm Officer Osborne.
Hi, Officer Osborne. I'm Cynthia.
Well, what brings you here today?
So I had a problem with a lady on Bahama Village just right now, like an hour ago. I was driving to my dog, to the dog park, and there was like a little chicken passing the street. And I was waiting on the chicken to pass. He almost passed. He was looking hurting already. And a lady who was behind me, she, instead of waiting like everybody else, she just decided to pass next to me and ran to the chicken while she was watching me.
The woman, Cynthia Diaz Sosa, says she felt compelled to avenge the chicken.
I do work as a animal rights defender, so I got really angry and I decided to chase her, which I did. She stopped the car. I opened the door and I sprayed her face when she attacked me. So she came to attack me. Obviously, she was feel threatened, and then I sprayed her face with this spray.
Okay,
a little bit.
Keep that in there.
I feel so sorry. I didn't want to do that.
Okay, so why did you get out your car?
Because I want to give her a lesson.
So you're waiting for the chicken across the road, and then the car behind you, she went around you and possibly hit the chicken.
It did chicken.
Okay.
Kill it in my face. I have a video of the chicken dead and everything.
Okay, let me see the video.
Oh. That was way after that. Look. She
Got out of her
killed the
car
chicken.
first, or you opened her car door?
I did.
Okay, and why'd you leave?
Because I didn't want her to get mad, and I came here. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to come and talk to... Anyways, there's no police officers around there. I don't know.
I was there, and we were there within 3 minutes.
Oh, you
there was
were
2
there?
officers there, and the fire department was there.
Oh, so sorry. So am I going to get arrested
Yes.
for this? How many days do you think I'm going to get
I don't know.
arrested?
You will see a judge in the morning.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
today I'm going to be in jail or tomorrow?
Today.
Today. So now.
Yes.
So
we need to-
can I pay a finance about it?
You take it up with the judge.
I wish I could see the video of it. Do you have
There's no video. I wish you would have stayed on scene. So just make a phone call from me so
Sir,
someone
why
can
are
pick
you
up the
talking
dog.
to me like that? I was trying to defend an animal.
Right.
I was not being too hard just
And
because...
in the state of Florida, you can't defend animals and take it into your own action to teach someone a lesson. That's illegal, what you did.
Yeah, but I did not want to do that.
38-year-old Cynthia Diaz Sosa was charged with 2 first-degree felony counts of burglary with assault or battery. The police report states that it was by opening the door to a car she didn't own before spraying the driver with bear mace that Cynthia violated Florida's burglary statute. She's pled not guilty. Court records list a 3rd charge, aggravated battery, which is labeled with a disposition of no information.
You can't just go around pepper spraying people.
I never do that.
The arrest report makes no mention of the condition of the chicken.
Now, it's important to talk about the laws at play here, but it's also important to understand that this woman is still going through the court process. So she is innocent until proven guilty, okay? And we'll talk about the evidentiary standards a little while later. But let's talk about the laws at play here today, all right? So this woman, Cynthia Diaz Sosa, she walks into a police station thinking she's the whistleblower, the one who has the truth on her side, and she actually walked into a first-degree felony trap. Let's look at the legal avalanche in Florida. First, you have burglary with assault or battery. This is found in the Florida statute, section 810.02. Now, in Florida, a burglary isn't just breaking into a house to steal a TV, okay? If you enter or reach into a conveyance, a car, everybody, without permission to commit a crime inside, that's going to be a burglary. Once she opened the victim's door and sprayed mace on this woman, she committed a battery during a burglary. Now, what's the penalty of this? This is a first-degree felony. It takes a penalty to the highest levels. We're talking up to life in prison, everyone. Now, fine of up to $10,000. All right, the second one, aggravated battery. This is found at the Florida statutes, section 784.045. It's important to understand this is an enhancement of simple battery. Simple battery is simply the unwanted and unsolicited contact that's made upon a victim. All right, when you're talking about an aggravated battery, okay, it's because she used a chemical weapon, bear mace. All right. This could be classified as battery with a deadly weapon, or one that would cause great bodily harm. Think about it, people. This is chemicals that you would spray at a attacking bear, okay? Not a human being, all right? This one is a second-degree felony, okay? So this one carries up to 15 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Okay, before we move on, all right, because those are her two major charges. She got charged with the burglary with an assault and the aggravated. But how about we assess just for a moment what's that way to put it? Cynthia's delusion. All right, she tells the officer, I wanted to give her a lesson. Her intuition told her she was a protector of animals. But legally, whatever your thoughts and beliefs of justice are, it doesn't grant you police powers. In Florida, you can use force to defend a person, but you cannot commit a felony to avenge a chicken. All right, next, let's move into our evidentiary standards. They're important. Every time that we have to deal with the police or that we're going to be called into court, it's important to know what level of evidence is going to be required. All right, let's discuss our evidentiary standards. We'll start at the lowest and work our way up to the highest. All right, so first, mere suspicion. Now, at mere suspicion, this is simply a hunch or gut feeling that is not supported by any additional fact. All right, so when the police are called out due to a dispatch call, when someone calls 911, or if somebody used a non-emergency number and says, hey, look, I need an officer out here, this is mere suspicion. Let me give you an example. The officer hears there was a black car involved. He sees a black car 3 blocks away. He might have a gut feeling this might be the suspect, but he can't pull them over just because they have the same color car. The officer's going to need something else if he wants to try to make this stop. Do we understand? All right, next, reasonable suspicion. Now, this is a step up. At this level, the government or the police have specific and articulable facts that suggest a crime is afoot. That just means a crime is happening right now or it's in development. This level does allow the police to stop a person, ask them some questions, pat them down for weapons, and it's broadly known as a Terry stop, okay? Good example is a witness who provides a partial plate and describes a white female with black hair. Now, once the officer sees that specific match, he has a legal right to pull that car over and investigate further. All right, next, probable cause. That's an important level, guys, because this is the level where an arrest can happen. All right, probable cause is when the police or the government have a fair probability that this person committed the crime. All right, they got a bridge, they got enough facts and evidence. All the facts would lead a reasonable person in their same position to believe that they have enough to arrest someone. All right, now a good example is here. Cynthia, she walks to the station. She admits, I opened the door and I sprayed her in the face. She just handed the officer probable cause. They can effectuate an arrest right then. He doesn't need to have a warrant. He can use her own words to make the arrest. Moving up one more level, we have preponderance of the evidence. This level means more likely than not that the claim is true. This is the level where we enter civil court, where people are going to bring each other to court when they're suing over a contract or money or something like that. All that's required to win at this stage is 51% of the evidence in your favor. Now, you lose by having 51% out of your favor too, okay? Now, a good example is if the victim, Pearl, if she sues Cynthia for medical bills, she just has to prove it's more likely than not that Cynthia caused her injuries. Now, with this transcript and some testimony from some witnesses, that could be a $100,000 civil judgment just waiting to happen. All right, let's move one more level, clear and convincing evidence. Now, this level is defined as when the evidence is highly and substantially more probable to be true than not be true. To win these types of actions, you need about 75% of the evidence in your favor. This standard is used for civil cases again, guys, but it's also used in certain criminal cases when they want to add enhancements. All right, so the type of cases you see this in, this is those family law cases, okay? When you're trying to change custody, this is when you're going to be called to court and you're dealing with some regulatory committee, all right, or regulatory agency, IRS, so on and so forth, all right? When they bring you in and they're trying to say you had some violation, you have to win by clear and convincing evidence. All right, a good example is if the state wants to hold Cynthia without bond because she's a danger to the community, they must meet this higher bar to prove her animal rights vigilantism leads to her being a risk to every driver in Key West. Because what if somebody else is a squirrel? She's going to do the same thing? All right, moving up one more level, we have beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, this is the highest level. This is going to be used in every criminal case. This level means there's no other logical conclusion or explanation besides the defendant being guilty of the charges brought. For example, when this goes to a jury. Now, to get to that $10,000 fine and the felony conviction, the DA must prove Cynthia intentionally opened that door and sprayed this woman in the face. Now, we do have to remember the arrest happened because she did, in fact, say she did to teach a lesson. Might not be too much reasonable doubt left. Anyways, that goes to a jury. They have to make that decision. This takes usually between 90 to 95% of the evidence has to be in the favor of the government to win these types of action. We're talking about criminal cases here, okay? So that means they have to have a bunch of evidence against the person. Now, looking at this video, hey, we saw many of those elements fulfilled, right? We saw an injury, and we saw a person tell us that they did it. All right, with that, let's move on and let you go. Now, Cynthia thought she was a defender, but the law saw her as a burglar. She ignored that little feeling that should have told her to call the police instead of taking action on her own. Now, she's looking at a first-degree felony. What's our lesson? Well, you can't teach lessons with bear mace. Now, if your gut tells you something's wrong, record it and call 911. Don't let a chicken be the reason you spend the next 20 years in a Florida State prison. What do you guys think? Is burglary with battery a fair charge for a chicken lover? Or did the state overreach? Drop a comment below, hit the like button, subscribe to Advocacy Alchemy. Share the video with someone who enjoys this type of content. Remember, this is Advocacy Alchemy, and I am Professor Ross. I'll see you tomorrow. Everyone have a great evening. Stay safe out there.
Please subscribe to Advocacy Alchemy for more lectures from Professor Ross.